weight loss. It should actually be called body fat loss, because the only thing you want to lose in a weight loss program, or if that's what you're trying to do, is body fat. You don't want to actually lose muscle mass or lose bone density. They're two things that you really want to avoid. A lot of the weight loss and diet programs out there, you'll go on them and you'll lose everything. You'll lose body fat, and you'll lose muscle mass, and you'll lose bone density. Muscle mass and bone density, you at the very bare minimum want to maintain them, right? You don't want to lose them. They're a couple of things that you do not want to do 100%. Now, the best way in order to lose body fat is to balance out your protein to carbohydrate ratio in every single meal that you eat. Now what that does is it balances out your blood sugar levels, it balances out your insulin response, your insulin release, and through that you'll end up tapping in to your own body fat as a source of fuel, which is what you really want to be doing. A lot of the diet and weight loss programs, it's so difficult because all they do is promote and increase cravings, which is really why most people put on weight anyways, because of their cravings were so intense, you give into it. So then what you want to do is get rid of it. And the only way to get rid of your cravings is to supply a steady supply of glucose to the brain. The brain feeds off glucose, right? And it functions the best off glucose, right? I've gone and done keto diets and all that sort of stuff before in order to experience what it feels like to run ketones, but hands down, the best you feel ever and the best for reducing your body fat is supplying a steady supply of glucose to the brain, so your mental clarity is up, your focus is up, right? You feel calmer, even though you've got a lot of energy. You've got a very nice state of calm about you because your hormones are in balance. Now, once insulin is regulated properly, you can tap into your body fat as a source of fuel, right? So your brain feeds off glucose. That's what it needs, right? If you're having the right balance of protein and carbohydrates in every single meal that you eat, right, and you're filling up that storage area in your liver and the storage in your muscles with the glucose from your carbohydrates, but it's really called glycogen, right? But we'll just say glucose to make it easier. And as long as you're doing that, you can always supply a steady supply of glucose to the brain, right? Because of your carbohydrate intake. And when you eat your meal, protein to carbohydrate ratio balances out the release of insulin and glucagon, right? And then you'll have that steady supply of glucose to the brain, right? So there's no point trying to cut back on carbs so much. Carbs, there's depending on the carbohydrates you eat, but especially your green vegetables and your green leafy vegetables are very, very micronutrient dense, your vitamins and minerals and antioxidants. So when people go on keto diets and stuff like that, and try and cut out all these carbohydrates, a lot of the time they're cutting out green vegetables and green leafy vegetables, and you really do not want to do that. It doesn't matter what diet you follow, then you have to eat green vegetables, right? It doesn't matter what it is, whether it's keto, whether you're paleo, it doesn't matter. Whatever way you eat, including green vegetables and green leafy vegetables, is key. That's where a lot of your micronutrients will come from. There's micronutrients in proteins and fats, but what really needs to happen is eating all three macronutrients in every single meal that you eat: protein, carbohydrates, and fats. The best you'll ever feel, right, is when you have balanced blood sugar levels. When you go and eat a meal and for some reason you just feel amazing after it, you're satisfied, you're light, and you're energized, well, that's 90% of cases, 99% of cases, it comes down to a balanced blood sugar level, right? and the times where you'll eat a meal and then you'll feel fatigued after it, there's a few things to look back on, and that's your food types, right? Everyone metabolizes foods differently, so we get a different hormonal response from that. The food amounts, right? How much food is actually on your plate, with a strong focus on that protein to carbohydrate ratio, and the time that you ate that meal, your meal timing, that has a lot to do with it as well. So food types, food amounts, and meal timing, if you can optimize those three things, then you will have a diet that's perfect for you, because you would have optimized food types, you would have optimized food amounts, and you would have optimized your meal timing, meaning you've optimized your hormonal response you're going to get from every single meal that you eat. Eat, think, and live clean. Life's better with balanced blood sugar levels. Steady supply of glucose to the brain. You'll feel amazing.